So this is the first time for us. I'm obviously at home in my studio. And I'll just start by introducing myself. My name is Rita Panula. I am the design director at ImpressArt. We all want to let you know that we're here for you, and we hope that you're all staying healthy and you're practicing appropriate social distancing, hence why I am working from home today. I just want to let you guys know that we as a company, ImpressArt, we are here for you. We are going to be doing Facebook Lives, maybe every other day with a craft project. We know a lot of you are stuck at home, and we want to provide education for you with the tools that you have at home. And I'm going to walk you through projects step by step. It might be a little bit choppy because I've never done this at home before in my studio. So, it's definitely going to be a homemade Facebook Live. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to be here until everybody goes back to school and everyone goes back to work. So we're going to start with the basic. I know everybody was really excited over that ring dish that's been posted on social media and our website. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to use basic stamps that I just had at home. What it is use what you have. You don't have to leave. Which is going to be a mixture of mandala packs that we had. I think we should get started. So what I'm going to be using today is my Alchemy Rounds. That is an 1.5 inch disc. Okay, and I use our buffing block to give it a nice mat, which is this one right here. Let me pull out a brand new one for you guys. So here, I know many of you have children at home, and it's so important that not only are we really concentrating on their academics, but we even concentrate on the whole child. So their art, something to give them a release, because it's a little, it's worrisome for them to see what's going on in the news also. Some kids are a little too little to understand. So I always like to give that a nice matte finish. It's my personal preference. This is the sanding block. I use the medium size, the medium grit, okay? And then I'll show you, if you stamp very closely to the edges, I'm going to show you how you can knock that down with the coarse side of it. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to tape it down. Okay. And I always tape it down on the opposite side of where I'm stamping, okay, to hold that nice in place. So what I'm using for the first stamp is going to be our 9.5. It's Mandala Pack, I believe Mandala Pack 4. It's the Henna Mandala. So I'm going to use a 9.5 stamp that's in there. Remember, when you're stamping with our products, you always want to make sure that the ImpressArt's facing you. That's how you know you're stamping in the right direction. Unless when you're working with mandalas, you want to flip them around to create another pattern. But I'm going to stamp with the ImpressArt facing me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the edge, the bottom round, the circumference of the bottom of that shank. I'm going to line that up right at the edge of my blank. I'm going to anchor my hand, and I'm going to do something called a tilt and tap. So with a tilt and tap, with smaller stamps, you could hit it once. The Alchemy is nice and soft, so it leaves a really nice deep impression in the metal. When you have anything 6mm that's detailed up to 9.5, you want to give it a little bit of back, forward, side motion. So I'm going to give it a nice hit on the top. I'm going to go back, forward, side. And that's going to be my first impression. Then I'm going to continue it. Again, placing my hand firmly, pressing down on the stamp, giving it one hit, bringing it back, forward, side. And don't be afraid to move your block. too. I'm a big fan of turning my block. And I know some of you who've had classes with me know that it's the easiest way to maneuver working around a blank. You want to take your tape, put it right up at that top, and continue. And one more. There we go. So after that, I'm going to fill in a little bit. I'm going to start again with the ImpressArt facing me. I'm going to utilize that three leaves right at the tip of that henna pattern. And this is not, it's a complicated pattern, but it's really not. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's hand stamping. It's supposed to look like it's handmade. It's not engraving. And what I tell everyone is not to get discouraged when they're stamping and they're looking at it without it being filled in with the enamel. It looks completely different when you fill in using the enamel than it does not filled in. You'll see that your impressions will pop right off that metal. And then I'm going to come back in right at the bottom. Now, mandalas, you don't need a mandala pattern to do one of these. You could easily use your design stamps that come in your uppercase set. So in the middle, we're gonna use a word in the center. But your Bridgette, your 3mm uppercase, comes with 6 design stamps. These are really great. You could use these in patterns. You could always utilize your O's. You could utilize your V's and create beautiful mandalas just with letters. So you don't necessarily have to have a mandala pack or design stamps. Done with that. And lately I fell in love with our dot stamp. It's just a dot, but what's nice about it is if you can control how hard you hit it, it really leaves different impressions. So I'm just gonna come right in the center and give it a slightly harder tap and then a slightly lighter tap. And you could see that one dot is heavier and bigger, and the one that I'm not putting so much pressure with my hammer on is nice and light. I always have that, you know how you have that either one pair of jeans or that one shade of lipstick that you always go to? This is actually, this is my go-to stamp. I've been using it a lot lately in all of the inspiration projects that you've been seeing on social media and our web page. You always want to check out, we have an inspiration gallery on ImpressArt.com, and I made a bunch of projects, and Jen, she's our marketing manager. That's who's answering your questions right now because I can't see the screen. But she is fantastic with putting my visions into words because sometimes my brain doesn't work that way. So that's my pattern. I'm really liking that actually. And what you could do at the edge is sometimes if you look here, there's a little bit of beveling out. This is where I said you could take that coarse block and just give it a couple of, just go over it. So you get any of those pointy pieces really nice and flat and smooth. Okay, so you see that that's all nice and uniform. Okay, so then I'm going to come through the center and I'm going to use I like using bracelet guides because they're nice and long. And they work better because they actually secure with these large blanks, they secure the blank to the block. So I'm going to utilize a 3mm uppercase Bridget. Okay. And I'm going to utilize the spaces in between. And my word's going to be hope. So I'm going to start, again, when you're stamping with our product, you always want to make sure that ImpressArt's facing you. You want to place it down and lightly drag it, lightly. And feel how that stamp hits that sticker. It creates a ledge if you want to run your finger down it. So you're going to take it, lightly drag it. If you're going over the sticker, what I want you to do is just lightly tilt it towards you until you actually feel that stamp grab the edge of that sticker. Then you're going to take your hammer and give it a nice hit. So that's my H. That down, lightly drag it. It's my O. My P. And my E. So now that's done. I'm going to take my sticker off. And I'm going to take my enamel marker. And I'm going to run it right over all of my impressions. Now, you could dap it first if you like. You could dap it after. There's really no wrong or right way to do it. I just feel like I'm going to fill that in now. So you want to lightly drag the marker. Don't shake it, don't press too hard. You want to lightly drag it right over those impressions. You want to let it sit for a few seconds. I actually am going to run and get a paper towel, right? So then what I'm going to do is, I like to say, I'm going to make it messy. So you're going to dab that paint. And then you're going to lightly wipe. Make it messy to make it beautiful. You're going to see how that enamel stays in those impressions and how beautiful it comes out. Okay. So the next step is going to be, we're going to use our Dapping Block. Okay. You're going to make sure that when you place it into the Dapping Block, the impressions are facing the ceiling. Okay. And it's going to be a little bit challenging at first, but I want you to put it right directly in the center. Take your hammer and give it a couple of nice hits. It's going to want to pop out of that impression, but just keep working it. See how it's making that really nice dome? And And it's all personal preference. I like mine a little more cupped. So I'll keep on hitting it until I like it, and I'll pull it out and take a look at it. A little bit more. Now, don't worry. I know a lot of people, oh, aren't you worried about marring? So this is a really strong plastic that doesn't mar the metal. You're not going to get any marring inside. And when I say marring, I mean marks from another tool. Okay? And it's nice and clean on the bottom side also because this kind of protects it. Sometimes when you hit metal on metal, it leaves a weird, funky, circling cupping on the back of your metal. But because this is nice and soft, both surfaces, it leaves no marring. Okay? So I think I'm good. I'm going to give it a couple more hits. And again, this is our alchemy, one of my favorite materials to work in. So then I'm going to just bring my block back right here. I'm going to place it down. Okay, so your impressions are going to be on the bottom and your cupping is going to be up top. I'm going to take my chasing head in my texture hammer, okay, my multifunction hammer. I'm going to place that in with that notch down and really give the bottom a nice tight squeeze, okay? So that holds that tip right into place. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, in a circular motion, using my hand in a circular motion, I'm gonna tap that metal down and I'm going to make a round, flat spot on the top of my domed disc, okay? So watch your hands. You can tape this down if you'd like. I always like to place both hands, fingers on each side and in a circular motion. And I don't know if you could see that. Let's see if you could see that. It becomes to flat. It starts to flatten out. And I'm just going to continue. And if you could see, it's all domed and now you have a flat bottom. So when you place it, it sits just like a little bowl. Just like that, and that is the project. But, so we used our sanding block to go around it. You could always use, it's a buffing block that we have also that comes with this, and it's white, and that gives it a really nice shine. I personally, for this effect, I like it to be matte like that. But this could all be purchased through ImpressArt.com if you don't have it. Like I said, we're going to be coming to you a few times a week with craft projects so you can make with your children. I believe the next one up is either a inspirational cuff bracelet or how to make a little dipper for Easter eggs. We're definitely gonna cover if you want to make some garden markers and popsicle sticks. Those are always a fun craft to make with the kids that are at home, using all sorts of things, whether you just want it to be a water ice or a cream ice. And we just wanna make sure that everybody's staying healthy. And again, we're practicing social distancing. Hopefully we're not social distancing from our crafts and our hammers, because that would be sad. So I want to thank you so much for popping on in with me and listening to me talk and listening to me share my love of the craft of metal stamping. And we hope to see you guys soon. Take care, stay safe.